I want to go on sort of a rant real quick because this thing's been bothering me for quite some time actually. This is just a little warning before we get into the video. I tried to screen record me drawing Kane for this, but the screen recording was lagging out my tablet. Like, the lag was so bad that I could barely even draw a single line without it lagging or somehow undoing itself. So I stopped the recording after I did the sketch because I really needed the line art to be smooth. So I ended up just adding the rest of the speed paint at the end. I do apologize. I did try my best, but it was lagging, so I gave up. I really wanted to screen record, but it just wasn't working out. But yeah, so if you see the transition and you're wondering, that's why it was a little laggy. And if you see any weird mistakes that I made with the sketch while sketching, it's also because it was very laggy. And also trying to record 7 hours worth of... It's definitely been talked about quite a bit online, but I don't care because I need to talk about it. It's something that really bugs me. I don't have a script, so my thoughts might be slightly jumbled, and I am also actively drawing right now, so I hope that everything I say makes sense. I am trying my best to make sense. So, basically, the first point I want to make is people on TikTok. Basically, just the art community on TikTok sucks. It's terrible. Like, I get hate comments randomly for no reason. Sure, that's to be expected. But I get more hate on TikTok than I do on Instagram, which surprises me a lot because Instagram is pretty bad. Like, I posted an animation on Instagram, and I got nothing but nice comments. But if I post something on TikTok, people will be like, your art style sucks. Or like, your art style makes no sense. Or like, you know, it's just a whole thing. People are really rude on TikTok. That's to be known. And I also don't even get hate comments on YouTube, which is surprising. It's very rare that I get a hate comment on YouTube. But then again, it's very rare that I get a comment on YouTube anyways, because YouTube's a little iffy. It doesn't matter, necessarily. But I've noticed that beginner artists, especially, get so much hate for no reason on TikTok, especially. Like, people are so mean to beginner artists. They're not going to be like a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old. 5-year-olds aren't posting on TikTok, but like a 12-year-old isn't going to be a master artist at 12 years old. They're just beginning out. Some 12-year-olds are really good at art. I was not one of those. I started drawing when I was like 10. So my art at 12 was not the same level as I am now, which I'm 18. And I still have plenty of room to grow. Like, I'm not saying I'm like a master either. I'm not a beginner. I have understanding of certain things. I say I'm somewhere intermediate. Personally, I'm not a professional. I'm not a master. I haven't been drawing for 10 years. Maybe I have been. No, it's been 8 years. But I'm not a master artist. And people expect so much out of beginner artists. They're like, oh, your art sucks for no reason. Like, they're a beginner. What did you expect? They're not going to pop out the womb painting masterpieces. They're still learning. So why are you hating on this child? Or even like adult beginner artists. It's never too late to start drawing. It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to learn something new. You could be 50 and you're like, I kind of want to start drawing. Then start drawing. Like, it's never too late to learn. I've also noticed that people with strange or unique art styles get hated on, but if your style's too similar to someone else's, you'll also get hate for no reason. People, like, as everyone, will find a reason to hate on your art, no matter what you're doing. They'll hate on it if it's too similar to someone else's. They'll hate on it if it's not similar enough to everyone else's. Everyone just hates for no reason. And that's one thing I have a problem with TikTok, but I still post on TikTok because, you know, if I don't post on TikTok and I get popular enough, so when I started posting my art on TikTok, I don't have a Twitter because I'm scared of Twitter. I'm actually scared of Twitter. I refuse to even think about getting Twitter and never have ever wanted to. So I only post on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, which, you know, those are like the basic places to post your art. But what started me wanting to make this video and have this whole conversation was the fact that I saw a TikTok, you know those rant accounts with the slime in the background and the random character in the front? Yeah, those. I saw one of those and someone was responding to someone else, and the premise of the original video was like someone was making fun of someone. They're like, why isn't my art improving? And they said, and they used these drawing programs and showed like IVS Paint, and I don't know what the other one was, maybe Procreate. Let me check actually. Yeah, it was Procreate. But I think people have this weird notion that if you're not using like the best art programs ever, like Adobe, or like professional tools like Adobe or other art platforms, I don't know what else, like Krita, I don't know how to say that one, but like people think that if you don't use those, then your art's not gonna get good. I've watched people draw in the Notes app and come up with masterpieces. When I was a kid, I started my digital art in MS Paint and Chrome Canvas. Like, you don't need amazing tools to draw an art, and people act like you're gonna improve faster if you use something more difficult to use. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever used Adobe Illustrator. I'm certified in Adobe Illustrator because I took a test and I took graphic design in high school. But Adobe Illustrator is confusing to use. Adobe Photoshop is confusing to use. I understand Adobe Animate better. I don't know why. I never used Adobe Animate except for like twice, and I understand how to use it better. I tried Toon Boom. It was confusing. It was more confusing than Adobe Animate for some reason. But maybe it's because I used the Wick editor, because that's what the teacher told us to use for a bit, and that was pretty easy to use. Anyways, I'm going on a weird side tangent. But basically, people act like if you use something which is way more complicated, like imagine throwing a beginner digital artist into Adobe Illustrator and saying, here, draw something. Excuse me? My god, bro. That is it's gonna make the beginner want to quit drawing. Like, have you seen what Adobe Illustrator looks like? I don't know what any other drawing programs look like, because I've never used anything besides IVS Paint, Chrome Canvas, and Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Although I don't necessarily draw in Illustrator, I tend to just do graphic design stuff in there because that's what I did in my class. I did draw in there a few times, but if I did drawings, I would just go to Adobe Animate, not gonna lie, because Adobe Animate is easier for me to use. But I have a hard time drawing on the computer because the drawing pads, the drawing tablets, they connect to the computer. I don't have very good hand-eye coordination. I have to be looking at what I'm drawing rather than looking at the screen and trying to coordinate that. Yeah, my hand-eye coordination is kind of bad when it comes to that. I can do other things, like play a video game without looking at the controller, because it's just muscle memory at that point. So I think if I spent long enough with a drawing tablet, I would be able to actually draw like that pretty well. But I don't have a computer, and I don't have a drawing tablet, so I've been drawing on this random tablet or my phone, which I've spent most of my life drawing on because I didn't have a tablet, I didn't have a computer to draw on, and not to mention, most people are drawing on their iPads or their phones. Most beginner artists, if they're drawing digitally, are drawing on their tablets and their phones. Like, you think they have access to things like that on those devices? Of course they're going to use a free one, especially if they're kids. You think they have money to pay for a program? Like, Adobe Illustrator is like $30 or something a month. I don't know how expensive it is, I just know it's really expensive. And that's why I can't use it, because it's expensive. As much as I would love to use Adobe Animate, I've heard there's weird things going on with Animate, though, not gonna lie. But that's fine. We're not here to talk about whatever the heck is going on with Adobe right now. Keep that away from me. But, like, yeah, honestly, you can't expect a beginner to want to use things like that, or be able to. They don't have the resources to use things like that. And if people are complaining about their progress, you can't say, oh, it's the drawing program you used, because everyone improves at their own rate. Someone isn't going to improve faster if they use a different drawing program. It's just going to make it harder for them to improve because they have to get used to a whole new thing. Like, I think I could jump into a different program and be fine for the most part, because I do have that background knowledge of different drawing programs like Adobe Animate and Illustrator and Photoshop, and even IVS Paint. IVS Paint is a great free resource. Like, they have a lot of different options. They have a lot of different brushes. Sure, there are a lot of ads, and it has gotten worse over time. I started using IVS Paint back in like 2020, and there are more ads than there were before. Not gonna lie. But, I mean, you sort of have to pay you sort of have to pay to have your stuff on Google Play, and the creators of the app do have to make money somehow, so I'm not complaining necessarily, but, yeah, it could be better, and I mean, it's only like $30 a year for iBase Paint, like, that's not bad, considering that it's $12 a month for Spotify, and I don't use Spotify, but you can't expect a beginner to be good, or, like, if they're saying, oh, I want to improve, you can't expect them to be like, oh yeah, you should just move drawing platforms. You gotta be better than that. No, that's not how that works. And everyone improves at their own rate. Like, it took me 8 years to get where I am today, and I'm pretty happy with where I am, though I think I definitely could improve a lot. There's probably a lot of improvements I could make to my art. But, like, seriously, you can't expect a beginner to be good. And you can't tell them, oh, it's a drawing program you're using, when it's not. It's because they don't have experience drawing. They need to get used to drawing. They need to get better at drawing. They need to spend more time drawing in order to be good at drawing, you know? You can't just expect them to be good. I've said that like 5 times. But I just need to get my point across, because people are stupid and it makes me angry. I've noticed that if a beginner artist does blow up and get popular, they tend to get hated off the platform, and that's just not fair. Like, that's a kid, or if it's a beginner artist who's an adult. I have a friend who is literally a beginner artist, and they're trying their best to get better at art, and they do get hate comments quite often, and it makes me really mad. Sometimes I wish I could delete comments for my friends so they wouldn't have to see them, but I can't do that, so, the best I can do is support them. And I think that, it takes so much more effort to hate on someone than it does to just not interact at all. Like, if you don't like something, it takes more of your time and energy and mental capacity and mental space to hate on someone than to just scroll away. Like, if you don't like a video, you don't have to hate comment, because genuinely, it takes so much more to open the comments, type out a comment saying, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, you should kill yourself, you should stop drawing forever, than it is to just not interact. And if you interact, it's just going to show up on your feed more. Like, seriously. You can't expect to not see that artist again, or more beginner artists, if you hate on it. And, it just makes me mad. People, for some reason, love to be mean, and genuinely, I'm so tired of it. I know everyone said this, it's been said so many times. There's not really much I can necessarily do about it besides just complain and try to spread positivity as much as possible. If I see an artist, I will like and repost their stuff and comment on it generally, especially on TikTok. I don't get art stuff on YouTube quite as much, simply because my YouTube is full of Minecraft stuff, and my Instagram's full of amazing digital circus stuff. So, I repost a lot of the art that I see on Instagram and TikTok. Like, if I see art, I will like and repost, no matter what. Like, because I like supporting fellow artists, and I will follow. Sometimes I forget to follow people, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I forget following people is enough. But I think the moral of the story is spread more positivity, stop being mean. If you see an artist, like their stuff, repost. You don't gotta comment on it, you don't even have to follow them, just comment something nice, repost it even, just like and repost. You don't even have to comment it. Like, seriously. This world needs more positivity, and I think we should spread that. Well, if you watched this far, thank you very much. I know this video probably didn't make very much sense because most of it was just sort of senseless yapping the entire time, and I definitely did repeat a lot of the same points over and over again, but that's okay. That's just what's gonna happen when I have no script or plan for a video. I just needed to get this off my chest because it was stressing me out. Anyways, here is the finished art piece. I'm actually really happy with how it came out. I think he turned out really cute, and I think Bubble turned out really cute. Both of them are adorable. I was really worried about drawing Bubble because, halfway through when I was doing the line art, I was like, this does not look like Bubble. This looks like Bubble from Temu. This looks like Bubble from Wish. This does not look like Bubble. So I was really scared. But I am extraordinarily happy with the way it came out. They're both so adorable. I love them both so much. Oh my gosh. Bubble, I think I did such an amazing job. I don't normally draw see-through, translucent, shiny creatures very often. So I think I did an amazing job. And Kane looks pretty great. I don't often draw teeth, or people with teeth for heads. So I think I did a pretty good job drawing Kane. Kinger is next on the list of Amazing Digital Circus fan arts I'm doing. So subscribe so you don't miss all the beautiful fan arts. And maybe, I did recently reach 400 subscribers. So maybe I'll do like a Q&A video or something cool like that. I don't know yet. I do want to make more long videos. It might just be a lot of yapping about random things. Although I do a lot of yapping, not gonna lie. So if you're interested in hearing any yappings about random things, then subscribe and let me know if you want to hear more about what I had to say yapping wise. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Okay, bye. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video or any other fan arts I do. And also subscribe to my webtoon. On Webtoon, it's called Mariposas. It's amazing. Trust me. I've been working on it again.